Good evening and thanks for joining us tonight. The term roadwork season is certainly all too familiar at this time of year, and tonight many drivers in Kitchener are noticing it firsthand. Victoria Street, a major artery in the city, is getting a big overhaul, meaning detours and delays are on the horizon. Let's go to CTV's Karis Map now, live in Kitchener, where all of this construction is happening along Victoria. Karis, we're talking about a really big and long project here. What's going to start it off?
Well, Tony, as you can see behind me, the section of Victoria Street between Fisher-Holman Road and Stoke Drive, is closed. The first phase of an expected 2-year-long project. Phase 1 of 2 has begun along a stretch of Victoria Street in Kitchener. The $12 million project focuses on the intersections at Fisher-Holman and Westmount Roads.
So the work is to be completed over a series of stages. Primary intent is to maintain traffic along Fisher-Holman Road and Westmount Road throughout each stage of construction.
As of Wednesday morning, Victoria is closed west of Fisher-Holman
for the next 4 weeks, and then we'll alternate on either side of the intersection. So then the east leg of the intersection will be closed thereafter.
The focus of the project, improve overall safety and traffic flow.
Rehabilitation of the roadway, upgrades to active transportation infrastructure improvements, traffic signal upgrades, and new street lighting.
Pedestrians will continue to have access to sidewalks, but drivers will need to find an alternate route.
There is a detour for through traffic along Highland Road, and updated information will be provided on the region's website as the work proceeds.
Specifically in the Westmount area, businesses bracing themselves for the impact.
People are concerned because medicine is very important for their life, and all secondly we have urgent care close to it. That's is most of our business come, so people has to be struggle for that.
The pharmacy offering free prescription deliveries to regular customers.
I know it's actual cost, but we have to prepare for our patients.
A nearby breakfast restaurant nervous about customers choosing a more convenient location.
Once people have trouble getting into your restaurant, they're not going to struggle with the traffic and the construction. They'll just go somewhere else. So it does definitely hurt our business.
As the work begins, emotions run high for employees.
Scared. Honestly, I mean, it's my livelihood. It's how I support myself and my kid.
But regional officials say the temporary inconvenience making for a safer future.
Both intersections rank high in terms of collisions, and it's the region's intent to improve safety at the intersections for not only pedestrians, cyclists, motorists, and access to transit.
Temporary lights are set to be installed soon to help manage traffic. Anyone interested in receiving live updates on the project can text the code VCTA to 57555. Tony.
Karis Map live with that major roadwork project getting underway in Kitchener. Karis, thank you. Something else coming to roads in Waterloo Region, more bike lanes. Well, today, a major blow for Premier Doug Ford's plans to rip up bike lanes in Toronto to try to ease traffic congestion. Ontario's Superior Court blocked the move and called it unconstitutional. Cycling advocates had stated that removing the lanes would make roads less safe, a position the judge agreed with, siding with Cycle Toronto, which brought the legal action, and finding that the Ford government's decision violated the Canadian Charter of Rights and Freedoms.
The judge's comments were scathing about the province's lack of evidence about the safety of bike lanes, and I think even just as important, the issue of traffic congestion itself. The Premier, the Minister maybe tried to frame this as a bikes versus cars, but our challenge was around the safety of the bike lanes. But the other piece that the judge commented on as well was that ripping out these bike lanes actually won't address the traffic issues the Premier is looking to solve.
Reaction from the Ford government now. The Transportation Minister saying today, we were elected by the people of Ontario with a clear mandate to restore lanes of traffic and get drivers moving by moving bike lanes off major roads to secondary roads. To deliver on that mandate, we will be appealing the court's decision. Well, the Premier has also threatened to stop bike lanes from being built if they replace live lanes of traffic. The Mayor of Waterloo says today's court ruling gives local governments some more reassurance to go ahead with their bike lane plans. CTV's Heather Centerin getting reaction now for us. And Heather, replacing traffic lanes is something that is part of the plan for parts of Waterloo Region.
And according to Waterloo Mayor Dorothy McCabe, who is also a regional councillor, that is still the plan. She says for years the region has policy in place that says when regional roads are redeveloped, pedestrian-friendly sidewalks and separated bike lanes will also be added. So she says today's ruling proves that's still the best approach to take. McCabe says in Waterloo and across the region, they are trying to build a community where people can move around and be connected to their employment, services, events, and activities in a safe way, calling bike lanes an important piece of mobility within the transportation system.
The province has an important jurisdiction, the federal government has an important jurisdiction, and municipalities have important jurisdictional responsibilities. And I think we collaborate when we need to, but we know our communities best, and I think the court is reaffirming that. So I'm pleased to see that.
So again, for now, McCabe says she believes plans for more bike lanes in Waterloo region are still a go, as she believes it should solely be up to municipalities, not the province. Tony.
Okay, Heather Centerin with local reaction to that court ruling on the bike lane plans. Heather, thank you. Now turning to some breaking national news we're following. Prime Minister Carney announcing late this afternoon that Canada will recognize Palestinian statehood in September. The PM says that formal recognition is going to be made at the next session of the UN General Assembly in September. Carney made the announcement a short while ago on Parliament Hill alongside Foreign Affairs Minister Anita Anand after a meeting of his cabinet where they were discussing the state of trade talks with the U.S. and the situation in the Middle East. You can head over to ctvnews.ca or CTV News channel for the very latest developments and reaction to this breaking news story. But right now, we are heading outside to get our first check on the weather. Alex Pinto standing by with the details. A little bit cloudier out there today, it seemed like, Alex, but no question, less humidity than we saw earlier this week.
Oh yeah, definitely not feeling like we are in that 40 territory. So definitely finally a bit of relief from that extreme heat and humidity. And yes, a little bit of cloud cover outside of our studio here, but also we're enjoying a nice breeze. So can't complain about that. Still summer-like conditions. I do want to start though with a special air quality statement. Some of you are under, if you are in the Bruce Peninsula, Sauble Beach, Tobermory area, you are impacted by this. So this is because of smoke from forest fires over from the prairies making its way this way. So air quality, though, is expected to improve on Thursday. So something just to keep an eye on that this should be fairly short-lived. Just some cloud cover, as noted here in Waterloo region and surrounding areas, but it is definitely more cooler compared to what we saw yesterday, and especially being outside. It was hot, it was humid, so I'm not going to complain about a little bit of a break from that extreme heat. Right now, 28 here in Kitchener-Waterloo. We're not seeing humidex values into the 40s, so again, more comfortable if you maybe want to head outside for a patio dinner, just enjoy your deck this evening. And again, the breeze, very welcome breeze, so quite comfortable. The good news, we're in for a bit of a sunny stretch, but we could be in for a little bit more wet weather before we see that. We'll have the details a little later. Tony.
All right, Alex, thank you. Talk to you shortly. Recent stories about trouble in the tow trucking industry have been on the radar for police in Waterloo region and beyond. Tonight, some news drivers can use about their rights after a breakdown. CTV's Alexandra Hollick joining us now with more on this. Alexandra, what do drivers need to know?
That they can say no to a tow, Tony, especially if they feel pressured by the truck driver to say yes. Police say it's important to spot the signs, to steer clear of scams, and stay safe. When you're stranded on the side of the road, the first tow truck at the scene may sound like an easy option, but it's not always the best one.
You have a right to choose your tow truck company. Don't feel like you're under pressure or duress to follow their direction.
Police urging drivers to know their rights when it comes to roadside assistance after incidents involving tow truck companies in Cambridge and Hamilton earlier this month ended in charges.
You also have a right to know the cost of the towing and any kind of fees included, and you have a right to your property at the time of retrieval of your vehicle, whether as at the scene or at a later date.
OPP says it works with a number of reputable tow truck companies to help people get out of a jam without the scam. But despite police efforts, there are still bad actors on the roads.
There could be tow truck companies out there trying to solicit business. Again, the driver has a right not to use them. They have a right to say no.
Local tow truck companies say the signs are sometimes easy to spot.
Oh, we need to move you off the side of the road right now. You're in danger where you're sitting. Things like you could get hit here.
But in high-pressure situations,
Having a big burly guy walk up to your door that's knocking on your door and saying, I'm going to tow your car, that could be scary. So lock your door and talk through the crack.
Just remember, it's your vehicle, it's your choice what happens to the vehicle.
which means you can also choose to say no.
Protect yourself on the side of the road. Then do the right thing, and if you're nervous or you're scared, call the police.
There's a lot of horror stories. We want to make sure you're safe, and we're here to help you during this moment of crisis and to help you. And when in doubt, call us. We'll be able to help you find a good tow truck company.
Welcome back. We just want to apologize for some technical trouble that forced us into that commercial break rather abruptly in the last segment. We'll continue on now with tonight's news. And a $50,000 reward is being offered tonight for new leads in the disappearance of an 8-year-old girl in Etobicoke 40 years ago. CTV's Janice Golding has new details to bring closure to the case of Nicole Moran.
This is the negative of Nicole's photo that was used at the time that she went missing.
The negative Melissa Ellischek is holding is what police used in 1985 to print missing posters of her best friend, Nicole Moran, just 8 years old when she disappeared from their Etobicoke apartment building.
It's something that I have that I can hold on to and that I can keep, and it just reminds me to have hope.
Today, on the 40th anniversary of her disappearance, police released an age-progressed image of what it's believed Moran would look like now at age 48.
That Nicole was amazing and fun, and we enjoyed so much time together, swimming, playing, laughing, walking to school. Yeah, I miss that Nicole, but I would love to meet this Nicole.
On July 30th, 1985, Nicole Moran left her apartment to go swimming with a friend, but never arrived.
I lived in the building. I still do live in the building, so I remember it like it was yesterday. And it was just so sad and so tragic.
Despite an extensive investigation, the largest that had ever occurred in our city, Moran has never been found.
I remember the police being here and the police coming into every suite, checking cupboards and rooms and whatever.
And while the case may be cold, it is not closed. Police today offering a $50,000 reward for information leading to the whereabouts of the missing woman.
It has never been forgotten, and it only takes one piece of new information to make that difference.
And don't lose hope. Time has passed, yes, but Nicole is counting on us.
Despite all the years that have passed, those who knew Moran say they are still praying she will be found.
In my heart of hearts, I believe she's still alive. And God, I hope that she's found and well.
I know that you probably don't know who you are, but there are people here that care about you, that love you, that miss you. And we're doing everything we can to find you. And if you think that you may be Nicole, if you don't know what your past is, I would encourage you to come forward.
Gone, but not forgotten. Ellischek adding, there is no doubt in her mind someone knows something that could give those who love Moran some answers and some peace.
That was CTV's Janice Golding with that report. The Montreal father accused of killing his 9-year-old daughter earlier this month in the U.S. will stay behind bars after a court appearance today. CTV's Genevieve Beauchemin tracking that story for us.
Yes, these court documents, as well as the appearance of a father before a New York State court, reveal new details about the case. Fertolin was wearing a gray suit, no tie, as he appeared in Ticonderoga, a small town nearly 2.5 hours drive from Montreal.
He maintains his innocence.
He pleaded not guilty to grand jury indictments of second-degree murder in the drowning death of Melina Fertolin and concealment of a human corpse. On that count, the indictment alleges that he did conceal his daughter's human corpse by placing it in a wooded area in water near a fallen tree with a rock on top of the corpse. Fertolin took Melina from Montreal on a father-daughter trip south of the border in early July. Police say he fabricated a story that she was kidnapped by someone in a white van and the 9-year-old girl's body was found in shallow water.
He has no ties to the United States.
The court heard today that Fratolen has an Italian and an Ethiopian passport and that he has residences both in Canada and in Ethiopia. If released, his lawyer argued he planned to stay with a friend in New York City and had no reason to run. But the prosecution told the court that he's a flight risk, pointing to his passports and assets. Fratolen was denied bail. He will be back in court on August 19th, and his jury trial is tentatively scheduled for January. Geneviève Beauchemin, CTV News, Montreal.
The family of a Toronto man who died earlier this month in Costa Rica says he was fatally shot in a home invasion. It happened while he was on vacation with his American girlfriend. CTV's Allison Hurst brings us the latest tonight.
Christopher Deere had just arrived in Costa Rica with his girlfriend when his family says he was killed a day later in a violent attempted robbery at their vacation rental.
Just coming out of a room and somebody shoots you because they're trying to rob you, and for what?
His family tells CTV News the 40-year-old was shot on July 11th near the coastal town of Tamarindo. A member of the Costa Rica Organism of Judiciary Investigation says in an email they cannot provide further details because the case is under investigation. Global Affairs says it is aware of the death of a Canadian citizen in Tamarindo, Costa Rica. We express our sincere condolences to the family and friends. Consular officials are in contact with local authorities to gather more information. Deere's brother says in a statement, Chris was a seeker, driven by an insatiable curiosity about the deeper questions of life. He was passionate about philosophy and applied his studies to nurturing his relationships with vast people from all walks of life that he was involved with. And that he was very close to his family and friends. He had a great sense of humor and a smile that would light up a room. We are all in shock that such a loving and generous soul lost his life in such a tragic and senseless way. Deere was a life coach who was able to work remotely and had plans to stay in Costa Rica for up to 6 months. He was also a blue belt in jiu-jitsu with aspirations to earn his black belt.
If he, still was with us, he would for sure get that rank. He had the strength and the determination to go there, and he told me one day I want to become a black belt. So that's why it was important.
Greg King was Deere's coach, and he honored him in a ceremony yesterday, awarding him that black belt posthumously. His family and peers were there, and his medals and green kimono.
The green kimono is very particular. And I was like, it's like the army green. And we're like, why do you wear this? He's like, I don't know. I just like it. I was like, well, okay, if you like it, then good. We like it too. So everybody yesterday was laughing about that because it was like, oh, that's the kimono that everybody knew him to wear.
His family wants answers and justice, saying we are hoping to have closure in this tragedy and waiting to see if the OIJ in Costa Rica is able to protect and bring justice to Canadians visiting Costa Rica.
That was CTV's Allison Hurst reporting. In Hamilton, police are investigating 2 reports of shootings last night. The first happened at Kenilworth at Roxborough Avenue just before midnight. Police say this was the second report of shots fired last night, but they believe the 2 shootings are unrelated. The second happened in Stony Creek near Battlefield Drive and Robb Avenue just after 10:30 last night. Police have been asking residents in both areas to review video footage and to contact police or Crime Stoppers if they have any information. 2 runways were out of commission for most of the day today at Pearson International Airport after a rough landing for a small plane this morning. Peel police say just after 8:30 a.m., a Hawker 850 XP aircraft experienced mechanical issues, but that it landed safely. There was minor damage to the private plane, which had 2 crew members on board, but no injuries reported. The search for answers around what took place is now underway. Investigations are underway by police and the Transportation Safety Board. Flights continued to take off and depart on other runways at Pearson, and officials said just after 5 p.m. that normal operations had resumed. Well, Guelph is looking at a unique way to create more space for pets and people. They're opening dozens of off-leash areas for dogs at sports fields across the city. CTV's Ashley Bacon has the details.
Creating more running room for man's best friend.
I think it gives everyone the shared ability to use lots of fields and spaces in the city of Guelph, and with that it does give shared responsibility.
With dozens of these fields available, there's plenty of space for both people and pets.
This bylaw, where it gave authority to allow 41 different sports fields to be used as leash-free zones when no one was occupying that sports field.
The bylaw was first passed in 2019, but the city has been bringing attention to the program as of late, and local sports clubs don't seem to mind.
It's been great. I haven't seen any negative to it, to be honest. The people are outside enjoying the park space, which is wonderful when we're not using it, and it just allows people using these beautiful parks all the time.
The spaces are for people first, pets second.
Dog owners must maintain control of their dogs at all time, clean up after them, and if the sports field does become occupied, they'd have to remove their dog.
With consequences for those who don't follow the rules.
We always start with education, then we move to warnings if needed, and then we do lay charges if necessary.
It's been great. You know, dog owners are really good at taking care of themselves.
A full list of off-leash areas can be found on our website, ctvnewskitchener.ca. Ashley Bacon, CTV News, Guelph.
Turning to health news now, Ontario is planning to double its production of medical isotopes over the next 5 years. The province is creating an expert panel as part of a move aimed at attracting life sciences companies and manufacturers. That panel will work with the Canadian Nuclear Isotope Council, healthcare providers, hospitals, and industry partners to find ways to boost output of the potentially life-saving isotopes. The province says 3 nuclear generators in Ontario currently produce about 50% of the world's isotopes. And Health Canada has approved a new drug to treat multiple myeloma. It takes a novel approach in attacking the cancer and offers more options for patients. Those details tonight from CTV health reporter Pauline Chan.
When Marianne Tuomi was admitted to hospital during the pandemic with severe back pain, she was quickly tested for multiple myeloma. But she says some patients can go years without a correct diagnosis, so she credits Myeloma Canada with increasing awareness.
Information for doctors that when patients present themselves with back pain, long-term back pain, that to check this for a protein in the blood. That could be an indicator.
It's solely adults that are affected by myeloma, not children. And it does tend to be older adults.
Multiple myeloma is a cancer of the plasma cells. Marianne underwent an autologous stem cell transplant in 2021, but that doesn't get rid of 100% of the cancer.
It's like you have a big field of dandelions. And what the treatment does, it takes the field and it gives a weeding of all the dandelions, but there's still a few.
That's why new medications like Blenrep are so important.
So the drug both activates the patient's immune system against the cancer cell, also delivers the drug that helps kill this particular malignant cell. So it's a relatively novel mechanism in multiple myeloma.
Health Canada has just approved its use in combination with one of 2 other drugs. There are currently several thousand patients living with multiple myeloma in Canada, but with new drugs to improve survival, the hope is that number will grow. Pauline Chan, CTV News.
About the impact that highly processed foods could have on lung cancer risk. Researchers took a look at health data on more than 100,000 people, including 1,700 lung cancer patients. Those who ate the highest amounts of highly processed foods were 41% more likely to be diagnosed with the condition than those who ate the least. That conclusion held true even after adjusting for smoking habits. The findings were published in the journal Thorax. Well, here's a live look along Fisher-Hallman Road in Kitchener from our photographer Dave Pettit. It's turned into a bit of a cloudy afternoon and evening, perhaps a little bit hazy out there, but noticeably less humidity today, setting us up for some comfortable days ahead, even some overnight lows that might seem cool compared to what we've been used to in the month of July. Alex Pinto's back in just a couple of moments to give us a look at the long-range forecast and also ahead. Long lines at the X even before it opens. The rush to get a job at Southern Ontario's biggest summer fair. But next, more postal problems. We hear from people who say their mail is still missing even though they paid extra to track it.
When you see it happen, send it to CTV News. Text 10400. From your screen to ours. Text 10400.
You've heard of the term Freaky Friday.
Oh, yeah.
Might have even seen the movies. We're having a bit of a wacky Wednesday around here today. But it's okay. We roll with the punches, and we thank you for, your patience while we were sorting out that technical issue earlier in the show. But we're back on track.
We are.
Just in time for the one and only Alex Pinto.
We made it. Hey,
we made it.
Live TV, it's always fun. You never know what's going to happen when you come into work every day.
By the way, before we get into the weather, incredible Elora's Longest Barbecue last night.
It was so fun.
Next year, I'm putting my name down to go and do the broadcast live with you there.
We should do it.
Because my stomach was growling the entire time. Huge hats off to everyone involved. They had thousands of people there.
Yeah, tons of volunteers too. Everyone was just so friendly. We were able to kind of interact with so many people in the community. It was great. It smelled delicious. There was sweet, savory, no shortage of good food and entertainment there. So it was definitely a hot one.
Yeah, it was.
With that heat warning in place.
Not a bad day for a barbecue today. A little more comfortable.
Definitely more comfortable out there. We are noticing a little bit more cloud cover as we take a live look outside. And even when we were standing outside on our patio, just outside of our studio here in Kitchener, there was a nice breeze going through. And I was like, you know what? We need that. We needed that break from that extreme heat and humidity. And the good news, we're in for a bit of a sunny stretch as we look ahead to the weekend, but before we get there, we might get it just a little bit of wet weather on the way. So I do want to start, though, with a special air quality statement that is in place. For some of you, if you're in the Bruce Peninsula, Sauble Beach, Tobermory area, you are impacted by this due from smoke from forest fires that we're seeing from the prairie. So air quality, though, expected to improve as we look ahead to tomorrow. So Thursday, it should get a bit better. But when we see smoke levels increase, this is when we really want to limit time outdoors, especially if you're noticing it is a little bit more smoky outside. It's a bit more hazy, and some symptoms to keep an eye out for. So eye, nose, throat irritation, some common ones, and potentially some headaches and mild coughing. So again, expected to improve, though, as we get into your Thursday. Getting into the rest of the evening, some cloud cover for us here in Waterloo region. We are noticing some scattered showers throughout some areas. So Hamilton, Brantford, Chatham, Kent, Port Stanley, you potentially could see a little bit of wet weather headed your way as the evening hours continue. And Hamilton, once again, a bit later in the evening, you could be in for some wet weather. I want to pause it here for your Thursday morning. So Waterloo region, before the system was just south of us, it looks like it is heading a little bit more north, so there is a bit more of a chance to see some wet weather here in the region. Sarnia, Windsor, Chatham, Kent, again, potentially more wet weather could be on the way, and Brantford, you could be in for risk of a thunderstorm there. Once that system does pass, though, and we get into your Thursday night, Friday, that's when that sunshine is expected to make a return, and we're going to be in for some pretty comfortable temperatures as we look ahead to the weekend. So I'd rather see the rain, if we are going to see it, happen during the work week. So right now, 28 degrees here in Kitchener, Waterloo. It is nice. We're not feeling that extreme humidity. 29 in the city of Hamilton and 28 if you are in Ridgetown. So we're not in that 40 territory, which is nice to see. Today, expected high 29. We actually have not hit that at this point. The highest we got to today so far, 28 degrees. Not sure we're going to hit that. So above normal for this time of year, not by much, though. Record high, 37 degrees. That was set in 1916. And on this day in 1925, believe it or not, our overnight low was 7 degrees. Now that sun setting at 8:47 p.m. So we are inching a little bit closer towards 8:40. And overnight conditions, we could see some more haze, of course, from the forest fires that we were seeing from the west. Mainly cloudy conditions, 30% chance of showers as we drop down to 17 degrees. And then looking at tomorrow, 23, but with that humidex, it's going to feel closer to 25. So just a couple of degrees warmer, mix of sun and cloud, 40% chance of showers as we noticed earlier. That system making its way a little bit more north, and it will hit Waterloo region, or expected to rather. So over the next few days, that's when that sunny stretch could start for your Friday. Expected high of 24 degrees. Saturday and Sunday also look like beautiful, beautiful days. So if you have outdoor plans, hey, maybe you're getting married this weekend, you're going to be in for some beautiful, beautiful conditions and fairly comfortable as well. For Lambton, Kenton, Essex, sunny stretch expected for you as well. Once you get past potentially some showers for your Thursday, again, fairly comfortable conditions too as we hit the mid to upper 20s and southern Georgian Bay. Lucky you, you get some sunshine for your Thursday right through to Sunday. So beautiful, beautiful day to spend outside. And here's tonight's Weather Watcher picture, a beautiful submission of a bee enjoying this napwood. Valerie Clark sending this stunning shot from Palmerston. A great eye and some beautiful colors to highlight. Thank you, Valerie, for this photo. You are tonight's Weather Watcher. We saw a hummingbird earlier in the week. I think we saw a bee not too long ago as well, but these are hard shots to get, so kudos to you.
Yeah, very detailed. I love the color mix there. Did you know that was a napwood, or did someone fill you in on that?
I did not know. Valerie told me it was
Valerie
a napwood.
told you.
I'm slowly trying to get a better green thumb. I'm not an expert yet, though.
No, that's okay. There are a lot of species to remember.
There are.
When it comes to plants and flowers and trees. And usually Alan Fraser, our studio director, is our resident green thumb here. So I thought maybe he had tipped you off to that. But Valerie, thank you.
Yeah, no, it's, hey, more eyes the better. And of course, our friend Google likes to help too.
Yes, we need your notes on botanicals. Okay, Alex, thank you so much.
Thank you.
As Conservative leader Pierre Poilievre looks to secure a new seat in the House of Commons, he took part in a by-election debate last night in the Alberta riding of Battle River Crowfoot.
Look, I'll be honest, having a leader of a political party as your local member of parliament is a trade-off. On the one hand, the leader, in truth, lives in hotel rooms. At the other side, though, is that leader can bring a very powerful megaphone to the local issues of the community.
I firmly believe that Monsieur Poilievre is too busy with his own personal ambitions to give a rat's backside about us.
10 candidates took part in the debate, although more than 200 have registered to run for the seat. Contenders answered a range of questions about immigration, healthcare, agriculture, and the economy. That by-election, of course, was triggered when elected MP Damien Carrick resigned so that Poilievre could run in his place after Poilievre lost his own seat in the Ottawa area in the spring election. This by-election is set for August 18th. Postal workers went on strike last November until they were ordered back on the job a month later. It took a while to clear a big backlog, but now some viewers are telling us even though they paid extra for registered services, their mail is still missing. CTV's consumer reporter Pat Foran looking into it.
Ethan Thorogood of Toronto has volunteered to help children's causes in Africa. He decided to go to Kenya and Ghana for 3 months this summer to continue his humanitarian work. In the spring, he used Express Post to mail his passport, proof of vaccines, and other documents to the Ghana consulate in the GTA.
I checked back a few days later to see where it was at, being delivered to the consulate, and it was lost and nowhere to be found.
Once the documents were officially declared lost, Thorogood had to scramble to replace all the missing paperwork at an additional cost to him of $750.
Cost a lot financially and certainly emotionally as well.
He was able to get new paperwork in time to make the trip. Canada Post gave him $100, the maximum insurance for Express Post. His mother, Lara, felt he deserved much more.
He's going to volunteer, and that $750 would come in very, very handy either towards his flight or helping the kids while he's there.
A Canada Post spokesperson told CTV News, "We apologize to the customer and recognize the importance of meeting the expectations of Canadians across the country."
This is actually the registered mail tag.
Sarah Isaacs of Mississauga had to mail confidential documents in February for a family member. They were medical records for her insurance company.
Because it's confidential medical information, I said I'm going to send it through Canada Post as a registered letter.
Isaacs kept checking to see when her registered letter would arrive. More than 5 months later, Canada Post still has no idea where it went.
They lost my letter. And now they're basically saying they refuse to do anything about it.
Canada Post told CTV News, "This is an unfortunate situation and we apologize to the customer that their registered letter still has not been delivered." Canada Post says it takes it very seriously whenever a letter, package, or parcel goes missing. Isaacs is frustrated her family's private documents have disappeared.
You can't lose registered mail. That's absolutely insane.
That report from CTV's consumer reporter Pat Foran. Holding the line on interest rates. Coming up, the big move by Canada's central bank today to leave things just where they are, and their take on what the next several months are going to bring the economy. The cost of borrowing money in Canada is staying right where it is for another several weeks. The central bank held the line today on its key interest rate, keeping it frozen at 2.75%. CTV's Rachel Aiello now on the reasons behind that decision.
Uncertainty over the future of the Canada-U.S. trade war is clouding the economic outlook in this country, prompting the central bank to again hold its key interest rate at 2.75%.
Growth in spending by Canadian businesses and households is being restrained by uncertainty, and new U.S. tariffs are having profound impacts on directly affected sectors.
Today, this country's top banker said future inflation projections hinge on the outcome of the ongoing cross-border trade talks.
The tariffs have a permanent effect on the economy unless they're removed.
The decision was widely forecasted by the big banks, but came as a shock to Ontario Premier Doug Ford. He said staring down the economic uncertainty, it's never been more important to stimulate growth, and called on the central bank to cut interest rates now. How would you respond to that?
Look, we take our decisions independently of the political process. We are going to make sure that a tariff problem does not become an inflation problem.
That tariff problem only growing today, with U.S. President Donald Trump announcing 50% tariffs on certain copper imports, citing national security. The sudden announcement adding to the pressure Prime Minister Mark Carney and his cabinet are facing. With the clock ticking and no new trade pact in sight, economists say there's a lot riding on Canada getting a good deal.
That's why I think, you're seeing Canada sort of running the clock.
Though Trump's envoy to Canada still thinks there's a chance of an agreement by Friday.
It's Wednesday today, so you've got at least 48 hours and maybe up to 72 hours, but a lot of things happen at a close of a negotiation.
That time for Canadian companies like Algoma Steel is of the essence. Today, the company suspended its dividend after posting major losses, saying tariffs played a large part. Rachel Aiello, CTV News, Ottawa.
The Ontario government's torn up its $100 million contract with Elon Musk's Starlink internet service. That deal was signed to provide internet to around 15,000 homes in northern Ontario. So Ontario will now have to pay an unknown fee to break the deal, but the province says it is considerably less than the original contract. Friends, family, and many fans honored the late Ozzy Osbourne today. Thousands of fans lined the funeral procession route in Birmingham, England, paying respects to the Black Sabbath frontman. Many have made pilgrimages to sites around Osbourne's hometown since his death was announced.
Very emotional. Obviously, been a Black Sabbath fan for a long time, watched the Osbournes on the TV. So we've grown up with these being in our homes, so they're like our family, Yeah. So basically it's like a big loss, especially after a few weeks ago he's done the Back to the Beginning tour, which unfortunately I couldn't make. But I'm glad to be here today with people who are like-minded, who adored him and adore the family, and we want to show our support today for him and his family.
Because Ozzy was an absolute legend. He's a soundtrack, particularly my life growing up. If you're a metalhead, he is and Black Sabbath are the originators of heavy metal and such great music. And he dared to be different because he was different.
Osbourne died last week at the age of 76 following years of health struggles, just weeks after he reunited on stage with his Black Sabbath bandmates for one final performance. On top of the majors and hoping to avoid a big slide. Coming up, the Jays have hit a speed bump in their stellar summer. Could they get out of the series with Baltimore with a win this afternoon? After a stunning run to the top of Major League Baseball's standings ahead of this series, the Toronto Blue Jays probably couldn't be happier to be finished with this set with Baltimore this afternoon.
Lucas hits one to deep right field. A 3-run
homer.
Yeah, 3-run homer in the top of the 7th, helping the Jays salvage a 9-8 win over Baltimore today. Their only win in this set with the Orioles. Toronto, by the way, still holding on to top spot in the American League East, still 4.5 games ahead of the Yankees. They're going to have tomorrow off and then open a series against Kansas City back here at home on Friday night. Canada Soccer has launched a fan membership program to give people with deep pockets a shot at seeing Team Canada play at the 2026 World Cup. It's called Canada Red, and it is the exclusive platform to apply for Canada Soccer's World Cup ticket allotment. The first 2 tiers of membership are free, but the more you pay, the better your odds of getting a ticket are. The top tier of the program is $5,000. There's no guarantee that all Canada Red members will land tickets. And Canada's Summer McIntosh has cruised into the finals of the 200-meter butterfly at the World Swimming Championships in Singapore.
McIntosh has responded to the challenge there of the American, and look at a glide past. It is McIntosh who's going to win it. Smith will be in second place, and in third it was Ellen Walsh.
The Toronto native will try for her 3rd gold medal of the competition in the final. The swimming superstar is hoping to win a total of 5 gold medals at these events. Okay, let's check in with Marcia McMillan in the National Newsroom to find out what's coming up tonight at 11.
Tonight, the impact from a monster earthquake.
It's almost impossible to describe just how large an earthquake of this magnitude is.
How BC's warning system responded to the stern test of a tsunami threat. Later on CTV National News.
Well, still sitting at a very comfortable 28 here in Waterloo region. More cloud cover for us. I'll let you know if we could see a chance for some wet weather tomorrow morning. Here's your CTV lineup for your Wednesday night at 7 o'clock. Match game before Master Chef at 8. Then at 9, it's Gordon Ramsay's Secret Service before Battle of the Generations.
Alex is back with our look at wake-up weather for Thursday. A bit of a shift underway right now in the forecast.
We're already kind of starting to feel it if you've gone for a walk this evening or maybe just taking a look outside, depending, of course, where you are. But we've noticed it from the 5 o'clock hour getting into the end of 6 here. We're starting to see a little bit more cloud cover. And yes, potentially we could be in for a little bit of wet weather to start your day. 6 a.m. We're seeing about a 70% chance of showers. Cloudy conditions expected for the morning hours. By 10 o'clock, we might hit 21. But again, that just slightly goes down by 10%. So 60% chance of showers. So maybe if you are planning to walk the dog tomorrow, maybe you got the day off, maybe plan accordingly. Keep that umbrella nearby just in case. The rain boots, the rain jacket. Every time we see this, I'm never prepared just in case. Because then sometimes it just doesn't rain. So
Me neither. Me neither. So good to know those clouds are starting to win the battle of tug of war right now. Okay, finally for us, and I hate to say it, it's one of those bittersweet things. I don't like saying that the X is almost here, but it's also exciting that the X is almost here. Just that time of year.
Like you say.
Bittersweet, exactly. And excitement is building.
Yes.
It's just a couple of weeks away now, but today, a huge lineup at exhibition grounds.
Now, this wasn't for people wanting to get in to check out the rides or, of course, buy that tasty food, but people who are hoping to score a job at the summer fair. CTV's Jessica Smith checked it out.
The Canadian National Exhibition is a quintessential part of summer and employment in the city.
Really excited, actually. I've been waiting for the past months, and finally I'm ready for the opportunity.
According to the CNE, the exhibition is one of the city's largest seasonal employers.
The CNE is such an important tradition, and you know, if you talk to people, you're going to find very quickly somebody who says their first job was at the CNE.
The CNE says a record 54,000 people registered for roughly 5,000 positions available this season.
I hope I get one. I'm nervous. It is my first time, so I'll see how it goes.
According to Statistics Canada's June 2025 Labour Force Survey, youth unemployment hit 14.2%, up 0.7 percentage points year over year. That rate remaining significantly above the pre-pandemic average of 10.8% recorded between 2017 and 2019.
There's a lot of demand for work right now, for sure, but there's some really exciting opportunities.
Doors opened at 11 a.m. at the EnerCare Center with a line for those pre-registered and another for those unregistered and waiting to also get in, wrapping around the inside of the building.
I am a newcomer to Canada and on a PR also. So I'm looking for some job opportunities, and CNE gives me an opportunity to go ahead with that.
I've been looking for a job the second I turned 16. Nowhere's hiring. And I feel like CNE is just the perfect place to get my first job.
For Andrew Moda, owner of Festival Beast, looking to fill just over 100 positions, he said what made successful candidates stand out was their enthusiasm.
People come to the festival for the excitement, the energy, and if your staff doesn't have that, you just need that to make the whole experience come together. So that's what we know. We can teach the rest.
Her summit was a time to celebrate getting a job.
The worker said she liked the personality, she liked my energy, so I got hired.
It feels good, especially as a young person, to see like older people recognize that in you. It feels good.
And for others, it's still a waiting game.
Applied to 2 places so far, and neither of them have responded to me, but to be fair, one of them was only hiring like 1 person.
The Canadian National Exhibition begins on August 15th and runs all the way through to Labor Day on September 1st. Jessica Smith, CTV News.
Thank you, Jess. Nice to have our former CTV Kitchener colleague Jess back on the show once again.
Familiar faces.
100%. So now, wait for it, because in the next couple of weeks, it will be the story about all the food.
That's one of my favorite every year, just because I'm like, is it good? Is it not? And they come up with the wackiest ideas. So
something deep fried, something sweet, something involving pickles. Those are my predictions
Always
so
pickles.
far. Yes, a fan favorite. That's going to do it for us tonight. We'll see you back here for your next local news at 11:30. Have a good evening.
Take care.